Welcome back. All right, and continuing my look at teams that were eliminated from the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs, we are up to Washington, the Washington Capitals. They had an amazing regular season, 111 points, 51, 22, and 9 record. That is 20 points better than they were last season and 31 points better than they were 2 years ago when they missed the playoffs. The Washington Capitals were a team that 2 years ago, everybody, myself included, said, hey, they need to do some kind of rebuild. They did not. They didn't listen. And they end up finishing first in the East. So it worked during the regular season. And the postseason, a little bit more trouble. We look at the numbers for the team during the regular season 3.49 goals scored per game. That dropped to 2.5 goals per game in the playoffs. And they had a little bit easier time scoring against Montreal than they did in the second round against Carolina. The goals against, pretty similar numbers here 2.79 goals against per game during the regular season for ninth. During the playoffs, also 2.7 goals against per game. Their power play during the regular season around the middle of the pack, 14th with a rating of 23.5%. During the postseason, that dropped to 17.9%. Their penalty kill, fantastic during the regular season at 82% for fifth overall. During the playoffs, 71.4% on the penalty kill. So the special teams were beneficial to them during the regular season. They did fall off during the postseason, and now the question becomes, what is the path forward for Washington? Do they need to dial it back a little bit, or do you keep going and try to finish first in the division and see if next year is going to be different? So looking at the numbers, Strome was their leading scorer during the regular season, 82 games, 29 goals, 53 assists, 82 points. In the playoffs, Strome's numbers stayed fantastic. 10 games, 2 goals, 9 assists, 11 points. But he was far more prominent against Montreal than he was against Carolina. Same could be said for Alex Ovechkin. During the regular season, 65 games, a mind-boggling 44 goals, 29 assists, 73 points. 39-year-olds are not supposed to score at a 50-goal pace. In the playoffs, 10 games, 5 goals, but just the 1 assist, so 6 points overall. PL Dubois, 82 games, 20 goals, 46 assists, 66 points. Remarkable regular season. Dubois was a huge positive for them in the playoffs, just the 3 assists in 10 games. So a little bit more would have been wanted from Dubois, I would think, in that series against Carolina. But there's definitely that comment to go around for a lot of players on this team. Protas, 76 games during the regular season, 30 goals, 36 assists, 66 points. He has transformed into one of the best power forwards in the game. He only played 6 games in the playoffs due to injury, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points overall. So Protas, they'll want him healthy going into the playoffs next year. That could have made a difference this year if he was. Wilson, 81 games, 33 goals, 32 assists, 65 points. May end up being career highs in terms of goals and points. You never know, but maybe there's more there for Wilson. In the playoffs, 10 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. I thought he was one of their most consistent forwards throughout the regular season and the playoffs. McMichael, 82 games, 26 goals, 31 assists, 57 points. In the playoffs, he was pretty good as well. 10 games, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points. John Carlson, 79 games, 5 goals, 46 assists, 51 points. In the playoffs, a goal, 2 assists in 10 games for 3 points. Chychrun, 74 games, 20 goals, 27 assists, 47 points. And he turned a really good regular season into a contract extension. In the playoffs, he continued that strong play. 10 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. Looks like he could be a 20-goal scorer every year in Washington with the way he's been playing. And a great addition for them from Ottawa. Sandin, 82 games, 4 goals, 26 assists, 30 points. Just 1 point in the playoffs in 10 games. Mangiapane, 81 games, 14 goals, 14 assists, 28 points during the regular season. In the playoffs, just 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points in 10 games. Generally, we see the scoring drop for the Washington Capitals players in the postseason for the most part. And they just didn't find enough goals, which against Carolina, we knew one of those teams would have trouble finding enough goals in a series where we knew they'd be very hard to come by. Thompson had himself quite the year. 31-6-6 record, 910 save percentage. In the playoffs, he goes 5-5 with a 917 save percentage. So his overall numbers quite good. If you look at the advanced stats, analytically, he was quite good as well. Charlie Lindgren during the regular season, 2014 and 3, 896 save percentage. Definitely the backup in Washington. In the playoffs, he did not record a win or a loss, and he had an 800 save percentage in the appearance that he had there. So their goaltending is good enough. I think their offense, probably some young guys here who are going to grow into their playoff role, although McMichael, 4 goals in 10 games, he played pretty well. A young player there. Protas as well, young. So anyways, Their cap space July the 1st, not a ton compared to everybody else in the league at $9.375 million in cap space. And they're going to need to replace some pending unrestricted free agents. Backstrom hasn't played in a long time. Oshie didn't play this year either. So those are the top two UFAs to be. Lars Eller, pending UFA. Beauvillier might be the first one on the list that I look at and say, you know what, they might bring him back. Beauvillier fit in pretty well with the Capitals after the trade. He won't be a really expensive free agent if they keep him. So we'll see what happens there. Mangiapane may very well be in a position where he gets paid this summer. Could be one of those low-key signings for a team that you go, Mangiapane might be fine. He could end up being great. He does have potential for 25 goals in a season. Just the 14 this year, but still some pretty good play there. Taylor Radish, Ethan Bear headed for a market as well. Restricted free agents, you got Lapierre and Alexiev, and neither of them are going to get huge raises. I would think 1 or 2 year deal for both. Looking at the contract situations, Ovechkin's in the final year of a contract, $9.5 million cap hit, but he's turning 40 in September. So I don't know if the Caps sit down with him this summer and discuss following years. I don't know how they're going to play this. I would not be surprised if this ends up being Ovechkin's final season coming up. Dubois, $8.5 million cap hit until 2031. So he's signed for quite some time. That contract, of course, looking a lot better for Washington than it did for LA or anybody else before that as well. Wilson, $6.5 million cap hit until 2031. So the Tom Wilson contract, as long as he's producing the way he is right now, I don't think anybody's going to complain. But once that production drops off a bit, there will be complaints. Although the cap hit is going to look better as the salary cap overall goes up a lot, right? Chychrun, $9 million cap hit till 2033, as long as he's scoring 20 goals in a season. I think that's perfectly fine. Carlson, $8 million cap hit till 2026. So John Carlson has a year left as well. It will be interesting to see what happens with Carlson and Ovechkin in the final years of their contracts. Logan Thompson, $5.85 million cap hit till 2031. So he's signed for the long term as well. And he earned that contract with how well he played this season. Ridiculous win-loss record. Like I said, the Capitals pretty set when it comes to goaltending. And the future is largely on the way for next season, or already here in the case of Ryan Leonard. Leonard, not a big star come playoff time or down the stretch, but he looked good. And I think the numbers are going to be pretty good next year. I think that with the experience he had at the end of the season and then the playoff run, I think he's going to produce pretty well next season for the Washington Capitals. Plus, with the players that are leaving, it may give Leonard more opportunity. The players that are leaving also gives opportunity for left winger Andrew Crystal to come in. Crystal's been discussed a lot since he was drafted by Washington. On defense, Cole Hudson. So another Hudson. Is Cole Hudson going to be the next one that's kind of a big star in the NHL? It's possible. On the right side, you've also got Tarek Parasik. Also on the right wing, Ivan Miroshnichenko, who's been plying his trade in Hershey. And center/left winger, Ilya Protas, the brother of Alexei Protas. So there are a lot of good young players in the system. Nobody's going to replace Ovechkin because who would? Like, there just isn't any way to replace Ovechkin. And like I said, he does turn 40 this September. So there will be some interesting discussions around Washington. The general manager of this team is Chris Patrick. I think he's done a very good job considering the 20-point improvement for Washington this season. That's remarkable. Spencer Carberry, not too shabby as a coach either, right? Could very well be coach of the year this year and definitely has the trust of the Capitals players. And I think more importantly, he's got Ovechkin buying into whatever he's selling. So as long as Ovechkin's producing like this, Carberry is 100% safe in his job, especially with how well the team's been playing. The team is looking to get younger in the offseason, but that may very well be in part because there's so many players whose contracts are expiring. You've got good young players coming up. You want to give them a chance to succeed. But they are looking to add a piece or two. And it's going to be kind of tricky because even with the cap going up, them having less than $10 million in cap space, they may not be able to entice some of the bigger names, but they may get two of the lower tier names. Maybe some of that ends up, maybe they keep Mangiapane and Beauvillier. Maybe they add somebody else via free agency after that. But there's a little bit of money here to play with. We'll see what Washington does. I guess the question I have is, do we look at the Caps right now as a Stanley Cup contender? The whole season I kept waiting for them to fall back at least a little bit. There were games they won because Thompson was fantastic. There were games they won because everybody bought into the system. But I did think the playoffs were going to be revealing, and I think the playoffs told us there's still a ways to go for the Capitals in terms of real true cup contention. It is the first time they've got out of the first round since the 2018 Stanley Cup victory by Washington. So there's progression there, but there's still a lot of work left to be done. And with the amount of cap space being far less than what a lot of other teams are able to offer right now, it is going to be a real challenge for Chris Patrick to keep this team where they've been this year. So my question to people is, what would you do if you were in charge of the Caps right now? What direction would you try to take them? And if you're a Caps fan, how do you feel about next season? You excited about the young kids coming in? Crystal's generated a ton of buzz since they drafted him. What do you think they're going to be able to do, or do you anticipate them falling back? And would falling back be of the best interests for the team? 2016, 2017, they had an amazing regular season, flamed out in the second round. The following season, they seemed to scale their roster back a bit, and yet they won the Cup the following year. So could the Caps do that? Could they scale things back a little bit, scale down expectations, and then Cup winner like they did the last time out? Or is there just more work to be done? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.